Okay, students, let's start from where we left. We were doing chapter number 1, cell structure, and in our previous lecture, I told you about different types of cells. We discussed about differentiated and undifferentiated cells. We went through general structure of animal and plant cells viewed from both light and electron microscope. Today, we will go through similarities and differences between plant and animal cell, and we'll see different organelles. We'll see how those organelles are specified to perform different functions. Let's get on with it. Animal and plant cell have features that are common. In animal and plant cell, each cell is surrounded by a very thin cell surface membrane or plasma membrane or simply cell membrane. This membrane is partially permeable. Many of the cell contents are colorless and transparent, so they need to be stained to be seen. I told you in our previous lesson also that before making up or preparing a slide to view under the microscope, we need to stain the biological material so that they can be seen under the microscope. Each cell has a nucleus, which is relatively large structure that stain intensely and is therefore seen more prominent in the cell. These were the common features, the cell membrane and the nucleus. The deeply stained material in the nucleus is called chromatin. You have gone through the definition of this in your O levels. It's a mass of loosely coiled threads. This material collects together to form visible separate chromosome during nuclear division. So you also have learned in your previous classes that this genetic material appears in two shapes when the cell is dividing or when the cell is not dividing. In quiescent cells or non-dividing cells, the genetic material appears in the form of thread-like structures, like I have shown you in the diagram. And when the cell has to divide, these thread-like structures will coil intensively and will condense to form rod-like structures. We call them chromosomes. All the difference between these two is in the shape. Otherwise, the material they are made up of is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a molecule which contains instruction in the form of genes for all the activities of the cells. Within the nucleus, an even more densely stained structure is present, which is called nucleolus, which is made up of loops of DNA from several chromosomes. So it is also made up of DNA, but it is more condensed. The number of nuclei is variable, 1 to 5 being common in mammals. Then we will go through what cytoplasm is. The material between the nucleus and the cell surface membrane is called as cytoplasm. It is aqueous, watery material varying from fluid to a jelly-like consistency. You have read it again in your previous classes. There are two states, gel state and solid state of protoplasm. Then there are many other structures that can be seen within this cytoplasm. These are called organelles. Organelles can be defined as functionally and structurally distinct part of the cells. Now all these structures, the small organs, are capable of performing specified functions. They are having very specific functions within the cell to carry out the overall function of the cell. Now we will see what division of labor means. Division of labor means that in the cell, the organelles have acquired specified function and they have divided the work in a way that overall the activities of the cells are together done by all these organelles. This is also described as compartmentalization. It means that the organelles themselves are separated from each other, but they are working in such coordination. Having the specific function will cause the cell to perform their specific function. Having separate compartment is essential for a structure as complex as an animal or plant cell to work efficiently. Since each type of organelle has its own function, the cell is said to show division of labor, a sharing of work between different specialized organs. If you see in the diagram, I have labeled the organelles with numerical numbers. What you have to do is to identify them. First, go through the textbook, learn from there, and then identify and try to label all these points by your next lesson. Then is mitochondria and Golgi bodies. These Golgi bodies are also called Golgi apparatus. The most numerous organelles seen with the light microscope are usually mitochondria. This is the powerhouse of the cell. You know it very well. These are just visible, but films of living cells taken with the aid of light microscope have shown that they can move about and can change their shape and also divide. So if they can divide, there must be something in it to control the division. So in our later lectures, you will get to know that mitochondria is containing some specific thing which I am not discussing right now. It is enabling it to divide. They are specialized to carry out aerobic respiration. You know what respiration is. It's the breakdown of glucose in presence of oxygen in order to deliver you energy in the form of ATP, carbon dioxide, and water are the byproducts. Then the next point tells you about their origin, how they got to be discovered. This was done by a scientist after whose name these Golgi apparatus were named. These Golgi apparatus are part of a complex internal sorting and distribution system within the cell. When we will go through this organelle in detail, you will get to know that these Golgi apparatus are involved in distribution and sorting of certain things. They are also involved in taking things out of the cell also in the form of vesicles. They are also called as Golgi complex. Now this slide tells you the similarities and difference between plant and animal cell. Again, this is the review of your previous knowledge with addition to some newer points. You know that the cell wall made up of cellulose is only present in plant cell, not in animal cell. You also know that there is a single large central vacuole in plant cell, not in animal cell. In fact, the animal cell contains numerous small vacuoles. Chloroplast is present only in plant cell, not in animal cell. Then we also know that what do they share in similarity. They both have mitochondria, they both have Golgi apparatus, they both have endoplasmic reticulum, both smooth and rough. They have nucleus, ribosomes, and cytoplasm. What new point here are the plasmodesmata. We will go through the definition and the diagrams of plasmodesmata. It's actually the connection between two plant cells. I'll show you in our later slides. And then there is flagella. Flagella may or may not be present in plants, but the gametes of plants may contain it. Otherwise, the cell does not contain, the plant cell does not contain the flagella. Flagella or flagella-like structure may be present in animal. Similarity and difference. The main difference lies between the presence or absence of centrioles. You have read it before that centrioles are present in animal cells and are absent from plant cells. Under the light microscope, the centriole appear as a small structure close to the nucleus. I have shown you the diagram. Obviously, we will go through the detailed structure and function of this organelle. Plant cells also differ from animal cells because of the possession of cell walls, large permanent vacuoles, and chloroplast. This thing we have discussed it already. Now is cell walls and plasmodesmata. With a light microscope, individual plant cells are more easily seen than animal cell. It is because of the fact that these are larger in size compared to animal cell. And they have cell wall as their first membrane. Next to it is cell membrane, while the first membrane in animal cell is cell surface membrane or cell membrane. This is relatively rigid. What is rigid, the cell wall. It contains fibers of cellulose. Cellulose is a polysaccharide, you know it. It is made up of glucose, and the glucose molecules are attached in a different pattern compared to the other polysaccharide that are made up of glucose, like starch and glycogen. You have read that also. The cell wall gives the cell a definite shape. It prevents the cell from bursting. You know this, that when the plant cell is placed in hypotonic solution, it becomes turgid but does not burst because of the presence of this cell wall, which provides the shape, also prevents from bursting. Cell walls may also be reinforced with extracellulose or with a hard material called lignin for extra strength. This you have read in the structure of xylem in your O-level syllabus, that this lignin is deposited on the cell walls of xylem vessel, providing strength and support to it. This is the structure of plasmodesmata, and before that, let's go through the definition of it. The first point is telling you that cell walls are freely permeable. You know it already. It does not stop the entrance or exit of any molecule, unlike a cell membrane. Then plant cells are connected to each other, to the neighboring cell, by means of fine strands of cytoplasm called plasmodesmata. The diagram is given here. If you remember, I told you about apoplast way and symplast way in your O-level syllabus. Apoplast way pathway was telling you about the water passage through cell wall to cell wall, while symplast pathway was through cytoplasm to the next cytoplasm of the cell. So this pathway is surely be connected with the next neighboring cell. There is a pore between the two cells, a passage that is built between the two neighboring cells. This connection is called plasmodesma or plasmodesmata. It's a pore-like structure forming fine strands of cytoplasm connecting the neighboring plant cells. Movement through the pores is thought to be controlled by structure of these pores. These structures will control the passage of different things from one cell to another. Vacuoles. We know that the large permanent central single vacuole is present in mature plants, while there are many numerous small ones in the animals. In plants, the vacuole is surrounded by a membrane called tonoplast, which controls the exchange between the vacuole and cytoplasm. So you can say that tonoplast is just like cell membrane, which is partially permeable. And what does the vacuole of the plant contains? It contains fluid, which is actually the solution of pigments, enzymes, sugar and other organic compounds, including some waste products, mineral salts, oxygen and carbon dioxide. So what do plant vacuoles of animal cell contains? It may contains liquid material, it may contain a solid material. They can be phagocytic vacuoles. Again, when we will read the detail about vacuoles, we will get to know about these vesicles or vacuoles that are formed. Vacuoles help to regulate the osmotic properties of the cell. This is about the plant cell. The flow of water inwards and outwards, as I just told you that the tonoplast is partially permeable, so it controls the movement of water in and out of the cell. So it gives it a wide range of functions. It is storing different pigments, enzyme, it is having mineral salts, oxygen and carbon dioxide, and also controlling the osmotic properties of the cell. What pigments it is containing? The pigments which color the petals of certain flowers and parts of some vegetables. The colored vegetables that you see around you, such as red pigment of the beetroot, may be located in these vacuoles. Chloroplast. It's a very important organelle found only in plant cell. You know that what it contains. It contains a pigment called chlorophyll, which absorbs sunlight, which is required by the autotrophs to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And if you see them through light microscope, you would possibly see some tiny grains in them. These grains or granular structures are called grana. Of course, when we will go through the detailed structure of chloroplast, you will get to know about the grana or the granule or grains or granular structures present in them, but you can just see them through light microscope, not very clearly, but there is a hint that some grains are present in the chloroplast. Okay, this is the general discussion. Plant cells are often larger than animal cells. The size often varies enormously though. Do not get confused between the cell wall with the cell surface membrane. Cell walls are relatively thick and physically strong, while cell membrane are very thin. This is the physical difference between the two. You know about the compositions. Cell wall is made up of cellulose, as we just discussed. It is made up of cellulose, a polysaccharide, while cell membrane is made up of lipids and fats and cholesterol. Now, when we will go through in our chapters ahead, you will get to know the detailed structure of cell membrane now in your A levels. Cell walls are freely permeable, while cell surface membranes are partially permeable. All cells contain cell surface membrane, but cell wall is only contained by plant cells. Vacuoles are not confined to plant cells. Animal cells also have them, such as phagocytic vacuoles. These phagocytic vacuoles are formed when phagocytosis happens in phagocytes. Although these are not usually permanent structures, those phagocytic vacuoles form and then degenerate because of the digestion of the material which is present in them. I'm not going into detail of it. When we will go through the structure of lysosomes organelles, lysosomes are also organelles. You will get to know about them. They are linked with this topic.